Hey, thank you for joining in on another Coffee with Kirk. This is going to be a very short one. I'm not going to dazzle you with tons of graphs and topics today. And the reason is I'm just going to talk about the upcoming merger that Picket Fence is having with Islamorada Investment Management. We're coming together to create Bastion Fiduciaries. If you've been, on some of these Coffee with Kirks or you watch the replays, you know what's coming. I've been talking about this pretty much all year, off and on. But I've had some conversations with clients that when I bring up about the merger, they just kind of look at me like, "What? What are you talking about?" So I'm realizing that maybe I haven't done a good enough job. I know not everybody wants to watch the Coffee Kirks. I know I've had trouble getting this thing to people, their email, because I send it from a software program that sends out a lot of emails. So sometimes Yahoo or Google will block it. So I'm going to record this and then I'm going to send it out individually to everybody via email. So if you're watching this today, you're probably going to get it again for the replay, and then you'll get another email from me. I'm just trying to make sure everybody knows what's coming. So hopefully you watching this won't take you by surprise, won't upset you or anything like that. Definitely don't want that to happen. Basically, trying to sort of streamline both personal and professional life a little bit. That's the biggest thing. So the first thing I did is I sold the tax practice that's associated with Picket Fence. So Picket Fence tax service is no longer mine. It's if you happen to be a tax client, everything's going to stay pretty much exactly the same. They're keeping the name Picket Fence, the same staff, the same office, everything. Everything's going to be exactly the same, except I'm no longer going to be part of it. And, while I certainly have enjoyed doing the tax office, and it's just been too much. And so I sold that. And then basically also to build up some more capacity. And I think there's a good fit with the new firm. I decided to join in with one of my best friends. He went to the Coast Guard Academy with me. So I've known him from day one. We were in the boot camp that we go to for the academy. So we were in the same platoon. So, we knew each other from day one. And then when we graduated, we both were stationed in Hawaii together. We actually lived together. We were on different ships, but we were out there. So, we go way back. And he's had a firm since 2008. So we both had kind of tracks where we had, small firms. And, we'd occasionally broach the idea of merging. The big reason just to get more capacity, but never really pursued it too much. And then, I think what ended up happening was just the fact that we've been so busy, we needed to get capacity. Both of us have had issues kind of with employees. I think a lot of companies have that issue today with younger generations. But, so I've had folks where I brought them in, trained them for years, and then, they left. And they never left to go to a different firm. It wasn't like I was a slave driver and, make it a horrible environment to work in. One woman went back to her previous career before financial planning. Another woman got married. They had enough money at that point, so she kind of pseudo-retired. She'd still do some taxes for me, but she wasn't really involved day to day. So I've just had, I can't really. It takes a lot of time for me. It takes me 3 or 4 years to get somebody where they need to be, and if they end up going, I'm basically back to where I started. Plus, I've probably grown the business, and then the time demands on me are just way too much. So I'm trying to get to the point where I have more capacity to really sit with clients. I know I've been way below my standard of sitting with clients, meeting with them, doing planning. So this is going to allow me the opportunity to do a lot more of that, to get back to really why I got into this business, to kind of help people, help them on their financial planning. And then joining up with Cale Smith. Cale's my classmate, and he's the one that owns Isla Mirada Investment Management. He's always focused more just strictly on money management, never really done a lot of financial planning. So we're basically going to come in and start offering that to his clients as well. So we'll be able to do more for his clients, and then I'll get a lot more face time with all of you. So I really think it's going to be a positive all around. Or so we all hope, right? So it's coming up pretty fast. We're actually going to start the merger in January. So starting in January, Picket Financial is basically going to go away, and it's going to become Bastion Fiduciary. And why Bastion? Well, think about the old forts, the bastions, and the French word for fort, bastion. So we're trying to keep a kind of military theme. Obviously, Cale and I are both military folks, and we're sort of hiring other ex-military officers. And we've already got a couple folks that we'll start to introduce to you going forward. But, one retired from the Air Force after going to the Air Force Academy. So he did, I think 25 years in the Air Force, and had a successful financial planning practice on his own, sold his practice, and then realized he wasn't really ready to retire. So he's going to be working with us on the financial planning side and handling all our compliance. And then we have a younger gentleman who served as an Army officer for 10 years. So he's actually married to a Coast Guard officer who went to the Coast Guard Academy, but they have a young family, and he's finishing up his certified financial planner designation. So he's going to be helping out a lot on our planning side. And then we have, Cale's got a couple folks that are also going to help out on the money management side. One who isn't military affiliated, but worked at the Motley Fool. So I know a lot of folks that he knew at the Motley Fool. So we kind of have that in common. And then Cale's had a long time partner and employee, Loretta, and she manages the international portfolio for them, international value. So we're going to have a lot more folks, a lot more capacity, and we think we're going to be able to provide a lot more services to you all. The big thing, again, for me, it's going to free up a lot of time for me to focus more FaceTime with you, do a lot more in-depth planning, which is really what I've wanted to do. Mostly the tax office has just been a drain, and it isn't just the hell you go through from January to April with tax season, but it's gotten so bad now with the government issuing letters that they shouldn't issue. So I spent all this time having to research stuff that for clients after the fact, and letters they got on this or that, and it's unbearable, and you have to deal with it because it's the IRS coming down on them. So this is going to free up just a massive amount of time just for FaceTime. But the other thing is we're going to have a lot more services for you. The new business is going to have a lot more education. Now, some people, they don't care about that stuff at all. That's why I'm kind of doing just this video. I'm going to send it out via email because they don't really care to watch the Coffees with Kirk or anything like that. And I don't blame them. But if you are interested in getting more information, we're going to have a lot. So I'm going to have more time to do more of these Coffee with Kirks and other items. But everybody else in the company has podcasts and articles and videos. So we're going to be able to get a lot of stuff to you so that every week you're getting a lot of information if you want to consume it. If you have the time, you might find it interesting, you might not. So we should do a lot of that. But I've started to onboard people into some of the planning software. So it's going to provide you more tools, get you a lot more information that you'd like. It's going to make it a lot better for us to get, if you call me up and say, look, I'm thinking of buying a condo in Arizona, I can dig right in right away, and I'll have up-to-date information. So the software is going to really help us do a lot more planning, and really it's going to offer you some opportunities that I'll talk about when we get together individually of how to handle it. But the other thing is we're trying to build up something that is really a unique offering. We're trying to build a planning company or financial company of the future, where we kind of see the trends going. A lot of it's going to be kind of subscription based. So we'll have different tiers of subscriptions, and really just try to align it so that you can decide how you want to work with us and what kind of services you feel you need. So we don't have the exact parameter set up of that. We were hoping on January 1st, we'd have everything done, ready to go, but there's just so many details that have to be dealt with to just get the merger started. So really the biggest thing right now, when we get to January and things switch over for you, there's really going to be no changes except for the name of the company. So Picket Financial will become Bastion Fiduciary. That's it. Still going to be at Schwab. You still have the same login. You can go in. You won't notice anything except on the monthly statements, or take my logo, Picket Financial off, and put on Bastion. So there's really not going to be a whole lot to do. All your logins for all the softwares, everything like that remain exactly the same. You're going to work with me. Your fees are not going to change. And even when we go to the subscription model, we're going to make sure that we do provide you more services for no additional cost. We're really going to take care of our current clients. That's our big approach. There may be some little changes if you want, but for the most part, we're going to really try to make it focused on you all, to make it so it's a good transition for you. And I'll just pull up a quick little slide here. I always like to show my slides. Okay. So again, we're moving to Bastion Fiduciary. We're going to kind of have a couple different phases. The first one, it's just going to be kind of some general paperwork that we have to do. Obviously, we're going to have to sign a new contract with the new company. So we'll have a contract for Bastion. I also technically have to get your approval to assign your contract over to Bastion from Picket Financial. So that'll also be another little thing we'll do kind of in phase one. And then we'll get a new investment policy statement set up. And again, all that really it's just kind of, something you sign that shows us that this is how we're going to invest. This is kind of what we expect from a risk standpoint. Those are probably the three things that you'd really see. We'll probably do it all via DocuSign. Now, if I have some clients always have problems with DocuSign, if we do, we'll do it the old-fashioned way with pen and ink. But don't worry about that. But there's just be a couple little minor things that we'll do kind of in the phase one. But again, there's no changes to Schwab. There's no changes to any logins for any softwares, nothing like that. Everything will remain exactly the same. Phase two, basically from March till May, somewhere in there. I am going to be leaving Schwab. I've been talking about this for a long time. I know a lot of clients aren't real happy with Schwab, and I wasn't happy from the start. I'd still be at TD Ameritrade, but TD sold to Schwab, and eventually Schwab merged them in. The tools just aren't as good for both the client and me. Also, it's just the service isn't as good. I've had tons of issues with clients so far, and some of them have had impact on the client's tax returns and things we were trying to do. And Schwab makes most of their money from the retail side and 401k plans, things like that. they've never in the past really cared about the advisory side, at least to the point like TD Ameritrade did or others. So we've been looking at where to move, who's the next custodian. And it looks like we're probably going to go to, used to be called Folio FN. It's now owned by Goldman Sachs. So they have a really good technical platform. The other nice thing is they don't have any retail side. They don't have any competing conflict on there. This platform only works with advisors. So they build it for advisors, and they're trying to build that up for advisors. And we'll talk more about that, but that'll be kind of the phase at that point. I'm not sure exactly when we'll convert your accounts over, but we're going to work through that, and we'll let you know individually, like at what point we're going to do that. Even within the second phase, we'll have phases to move folks over to Goldman, just to make sure it's going okay. And then also the other big thing, if you're not already getting into our financial planning software, we're going to get you into that, start to build the plan for you. I'll show you how this is going to be a really good tool for clients. And we'll be doing that really through the first phase and second phase as we meet. So I just wanted to put together a quick video. If you've been watching these Coffees with Kirk, then this has been coming for a while. It's been brewing for some time. But again, a lot of folks, talked to a couple people that were kind of flabbergasted that this was happening so quickly. And I'm like, well, it's been a year. I guess I've done a bad job of making sure that everybody knew it. Fortunately, I do have a lot of folks that do, either through the replays or live, they'll watch Coffee with Kirk. So it's not too big a shock for people, but there are some people that they weren't really sure what was going down. So just going to take this and then pass it out to all the other clients just to make sure everybody knows what's happening. But if you do have questions on anything like this, please let me know. Again, for the most part, fees stay the same. Schwab logins, everything stays the same. You're going to work with me even after the transition. So the only thing that's going to change is the logo. And then hopefully we'll have a lot more new services for you. So it should hopefully make you a little bit happier with what we got going on. So let me see. Somebody trying to question coming in. But so I'm going to keep it short today. We'll get back into our normal presentations at the next one. At the next Coffee with Kirk. Oh, I got it here. Chip, were you trying to ask a question?
Yes, I was.
Okay, go right ahead.
So, but when all of a sudden I had to push buttons and flip switches on this thing, so I missed the last part of what you were saying. Yeah, Kirk, good morning. Yeah, I do. When you keep talking about the planning software, so on, that's the Right Capital thing that you're talking about.
It is, yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure. So that's going to remain in place as well.
Yes. Every system that we've got is going to stay in place.
Okay.
The Advise software, Right Capital, everything, this will pretty much be seamless for you, except we hope we'll get you, more education, more information. And like I said, the other big thing is it'll give me more opportunity to have FaceTime with folks. So. Okay.
You also mentioned that, so you've sold the tax. I'm well aware. I've been following along with all this stuff. So can we expect that the folks who bought the tax service from you will still have all of our information, and we can expect to have our taxes done by them if we so choose, obviously? And then same fee structure and all that, do you know?
Yeah, it's basically going to stay the same there too. So they've got everything. They're going to continue with our software, our tax software. So, same thing, portal, for you, there'll be a portal. Everything can be done that way. So you really shouldn't see much of a change, even on the cost.
Okay.
It should be pretty seamless is what they're working for.
Okay, great. All right. And last, I'll just say, I'm glad you're getting rid of Schwab too, because TD Ameritrade is way better. So whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, they took that option away from us completely, shut it down. So I don't know why, but.
Okay. All right. That's
okay. All right. Well, cool.
Oh, I also sent you an email about an IRA question, but we'll handle
that. Oh,
that.
yeah, I got that. Yep. So I'll shoot that back to you.
About that offline whenever you have some time.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Thanks, all right.
Buddy.
Yep. All right. Okay. So we had a little live interaction there. I've got another question here. Are you going to be maintaining the Forest Hill office? Yes. So that's going to be exactly the same when you go in there. For the tax office, the folks that bought the tax office are renting that from me, so they're using it. And then we've arranged something to where if I'm meeting with clients, I'll be able to use the conference room that's there for financial planning. So really, it's going to be seamless for you. That's really how we're setting it up. So if we're meeting in Maryland, I'm still going to have access to that office. And we're actually looking to try to use one of these WeWorks or Regis to have some more offices around that you can rent on an hourly basis. So we might actually be able to expand it, because right now we've got people all over the place. Obviously, I'm in Maryland and Florida. Kale's down in Isla Morada, Florida. We have a couple of the other money managers are in North Carolina and New Orleans. We have the other planners are in Philadelphia and Texas. So we have a lot of potential for remote offices and things like that. But yeah, we're trying to set this up so really there's not a whole heck of a lot of change. Okay, well, thank you so much, folks. Again, you're probably going to get this twice. You get the replay email, and you're also going to get it via individual email. So appreciate it. Have a great weekend, everyone.